Hi everyone, I'm here with Maria Garcia, Don Elijio Panti's niece. Thank you for being here again, Maria. It's so good to see you.
Well, thank you, Kik Samara. It's so nice to see you again. It's had been, a while that we haven't had a conversation, but it's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. I'm so grateful, and we just had a catch up now, but I know in the last few months some of the chats we were having were around the difficulties that yourself, the Itzamna Society, your village was facing around protecting the park and the change of government. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Okay, we have been through a series of, challenges, I can say. One of them was that the government want to implement, a co-management agreement that is so strict, not only for our organization, but for the different, organizations that are co-managing different protected areas. And but right now we haven't heard about the government because all the co-managers, got together and, they are not in agreement of what the government is doing. So, pressure is on the government. And so we hope and we pray, and we are crossing fingers that they change, the way they want to implement the co-management agreement, because the way they want to implement it, it's like too mandatory, it's like everything have to be under concessions. Also like managers, we couldn't, we can't then, if that is being implemented, collect any contribution fee of visitors into the park. And so, how are we going to survive, and it's very difficult, but we are praying that things will change. And then coming to the community, we had, like, for example, every 3 years, we have village council election where a new leader is being elected. And this year it was time for the communities to elect a new one. And the campaign logo is that if the community, or if my community votes, the new leader that was proposed by the area representative, is that they're telling the farmers that they are going to subdivide two subsections of the park, for farming area. But we are thinking that we need to work more close with the community, and see how we can try bring projects into the community, so that the community like educate them more, and not, feel and see that it's not the way to go, to deforestate the park, or to de-reserve it and turn it into farming areas, or cut it down, because the areas that are being proposed are areas that have maybe like 500 years. The trees are so huge, it's like the Amazon. It's a very unique section of the park, and it's challenging. We cannot say it's not challenging, but I think every challenge we learn from it, and it makes us more strong. So one of the things that we have been working right now is getting into the communities and see how we can bring in opportunities for the communities. And in that way, we know that they will have a way to protect the park, and not to pressure the area rep or the new leader to de-reserve the park. So we are crossing fingers on that, and see how we can protect the park, because that's the only corridor that we have that connects from one area to the other area, and it's a very delicate a piece of land. it touches with the mountain pine ridge, and it's, part of the Selva Maya, and it's also, part of the Maya Massive Mountain. So it's a very delicate, section of protected area.
And, we've talked about this before, but it feels like that area is asking yourselves and humanity to protect it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I hear stories like this from yourself or from other Indigenous communities or non-Indigenous communities that are protecting land, it's about relationship and it's
Mm-hmm.
about connection. And you've
Mm-hmm.
spoken so amazingly about this. And please, if there's anything else just around that, I'd love to hear.
I think, like indigenous people, we are connected to the lands. And then other thing is that, if we don't have the forest, we cannot survive, because in the forest, that's where our great spirits, live. That's where our sacred animals are. That's where our, the rain comes to us, and that's where our people, also, get their water. So I think everything is interconnected. And so, if we don't protect what we have, it's very delicate, not only for our community, not only for Belize, but for the whole world, because right now we are having a lot of this climate change, that is happening, and we need, Mother Earth is, like crying and shouting loud that we need to protect the nest that we have, because this is our nest, this is our home. And if we don't protect it, then we are gone. And what will be the future, of the children, of the grandchildren, of the great grandchildren? What will be their futures? What will be the future of this Mother Earth?
Oh, very precarious at this time, the
Mm-hmm.
future, And so I think the thing that for maybe modern audiences or people who aren't in these communities that might be surprising is that sometimes you're having to stand up and fight your own governments and your own local communities and your own, like, literally your own people just to protect
Mm-hmm.
land. So my curiosity, because I know I've gone through something very similar where I live, and we thank goodness those trees are safe now, but is,
Mm-hmm.
what is it going to take? So you've talked about education, but what's it
Mm-hmm.
going to take to change people's hearts on the ground to actually see the value? Like, where have they become so disconnected that they don't see it?
I think, for me, it's more the politicians that disconnect our people, and they make promises, that sometimes, um, they can accomplish, and sometimes they cannot accomplish. And the next thing is that religion as well, subdivide us. And then, the industrial part comes, and they say, you have to make money to survive. And especially right now with this COVID, that everything is so expensive. We need to survive, our farmers need to survive. And so our forest is more like, endangered or pressured. But then I think we have to let know our people that we have to turn, the way of farming, make it into, a more, like, for example, friendly eco farming, where, we don't need to go and destroy, our forest, but the land that we have, we can build it, we can, get the product that we have. But we have to go back again, to our roots, because if we don't go back again to our roots, then that's why we are destroying so much, using all these chemics, cutting more forests, plowing and all that, that we can, like, get greenhouses, put irrigation system as not to, use or waste too much water. So all this, like, practices we have, or training we have, to bring it back to our communities, and try to implement it with the farmers and the women and the children, so that we can balance things. Because if we don't get alternatives for them, I think that's why, all this is happening.
I mean, you spoke about politics,
Mm-hmm.
industry, religion, they're all essentially, these are colonial constructs placed on an
Mm-hmm.
indigenous society. And it's like, without demonizing the era of colonization, it happened, but we're seeing these problems everywhere, where you have
Mm-hmm.
people who knew how to live with the land
Mm-hmm.
suddenly have so much pressure to meet financial realities, and
Mm-hmm.
then a disconnect from that education. And so I just really, I want to honor you for what you're trying to do, because I see you operating in this world with like great presence, great stoicism, great intelligence, great grace, while honoring what you came from. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
hard balance to actually hold. And it's like, I learned so much from listening to you about the grace and being able to have one foot in both worlds without losing yourself. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. And
Thank
can,
you.
what can people do to help who are not there or who could come there? Like, say, people in the United States. What can people do to help you?
Okay, I think there is a lot of ways that people can help, like for example, if people can donate their time to come, if they know how to, like for example, there are people that know how to do permaculture, organic cultivation. If they can come and volunteer and teach our people, of how they can do their backyard gardening, how to, build their soil, um, just anything that can help our people learn new techniques, because we have to integrate a little of modern technology, like for example a drip system, so that our people can use less water and produce their food, because all what we can say right now is that we need to produce our food, because everything is getting expensive, and if we don't produce our food, then how are we going to survive? So that or if they can donate tools, like hose, files, whatever, irrigation system, whatever they can donate, because like there are times that we have long dry seasons, and we need like the greenhouses, so whatever equipment that our people can use for their farming systems, then that's fine. Or train them, come like volunteers to help them, to train them. That will be good,
Amazing.
and uh-huh.
And the
Or
rangers, do the rangers need anything at this time? Because I know we've talked about your rangers before. How are they doing?
our rangers, with all this that is happening too, our rangers are still there, struggling too, and trying to see if we can get training for them, and also equipment, like jungle boots and uniforms. So whatever, they can help in, drop in, they can do that for our rangers, equipment for camping. If somebody knows how to, do the GPS mapping or whatever, they can, just volunteer and teach our rangers, and donate cameras for them, because they don't have cameras like to take pictures of bird, like they do a lot of um, like monitoring, patrolling, and they come and they say, oh, we met a beautiful bird, but we don't know what type of bird, and we don't have cameras, so they just can't take pictures, they have but small, smart apps that they use to track their, patrolling, but they don't have like cameras to take, the pictures of the birds or whatever they need, during their patrolling. So I think all that is necessary for our, ranger. So in whatever they can help, it's welcomed, and we really appreciate it.
So I'm really hearing education and equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Are
Education, equipment, or if they can, also like donate stipend for them, because we have like volunteers there too. We have 4 rangers, but then we have like 4 volunteers that are there. So any stipend will be fine for them as well, just to keep them, like encouraging them to continue, because that's a hard job, They have to deal with everything down there, from the hunting, the looting, illegal activities like planting illegal things within the park boundary, so it's very difficult.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, cool. This
Mhm.
is amazing because it gives a real tangible picture of the
Mhm.
realities. So if
Mhm.
somebody say, I can think of so many people, but obviously like they have to agree to go. But like if somebody was like,
Mhm.
I'm a permaculture person, I can come for a month and I can do these workshops with you. Where would they just contact you? Where would they stay? Like, just the logistics. I'm feeling like one way we could help is
Mhm.
maybe create a little document around who to contact, what to organize, where to stay, these kinds of things, just so
Mhm.
people know.
Yes, I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
we can do that. If there is any volunteer, we just can, go ahead and do that. That's not a problem.
very exciting. Cool. I have my little brain is like ticking around, okay, some ways to try to generate these things. But I think it'd be
Yeah, I
such a
know.
beautiful opportunity. And I think from the perspective of the Institute as well, there's probably a lot of people who would like to visit and maybe
Mhm.
do like a week of volunteering. Like
Mhm.
maybe every year we do a volunteer week where maybe 10, 12, 15 people come and just help. And so
Mhm.
these are little seeds to plant around, how to do that. And so we'll stay in
Mhm.
conversation and talk about the best time of year and when these kinds of things can happen.
Yes, like for example, in the park, we need like steps to the waterfall to be built, and we need hands, on the ground to build the steps or build camping sites or or document the trails, map the trails or whatever, So there is a lot of work, in the community and also inside the park. So that's. Mhm.
Okay, we'll start dreaming it into existence. So, prayers and blessings, and just in terms of what happened with the co management agreement and this change of local government, the last question I have is where are things at now? And where do you see this going in terms of protecting that tract of land?
Okay, I think we have to negotiate with both the local government and the area representatives and work more closely, I think, with the ministers and other, like institutions, because the more, incorporated we are, I think the more stronger we are. It's not, easy, it's challenging, but it's part of our lives. Since our ancestors, they have been struggling on their lands, and it's the same thing with us up to the day of today. So I think we have to keep on going. We have to ask for the strength, for the guidance, and just continue on, because it's difficult, but there are days that you can't even sleep by night, thinking the way forward, how you can challenge them, how you can work with them, and but it's part of our life, so we only ask guidance and your prayers, and in whatever you can assist us with liars, with guidance, then you know I think we can do it, by working all together. Because when I feel that I can't no more, I just text you, and then that's a big help, because I release that, stress that I have. I feel that I'm not alone, that there are people that I can count with. So I think that's the way forward, because, it's part of life, So we are taking it that way now, because it has been a big, struggle, and
Mm,
it continues to be.
I'm so grateful, and it's always so beautiful to receive your messages and to just see like the international community around this issue, but so many issues where it's like
Mhm.
it's just heart to heart humanity. And I really want to
Mhm.
honor Wendy, our lawyer friend, for
I
her
know, I
advice
know.
and her beauty.
Mhm.
She's such an amazing person who's done a lot of work with trees in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and I'm really grateful to her for the ways in which she showed up to this. And so on the tail of that as well, if anyone who's watching this has like environmental law experience or has dealt
Mm-hmm.
with something similar before, and you want to reach out and offer your services, please reach out and offer your services,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you understand Belizean law or you understand how these things work. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing that's another need, is expertise in these
Yes, I know.
areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for this time with you, and we'll send this video out in the next few days just so people can feel you again and feel the forest again, and so that we keep reminding everyone that you're there.
Mm-hmm. We are still on the struggle, on the move, and you know, trying to do all our best and all what we can do.
And that
So,
you're the roots of this lineage. Everybody who has done this work and has said these prayers and has touched a belly in this way, like, they go back to these families and these traditions. And
mm-hmm.
so it's just really, I feel like it's so important to honor that, because all
Mm-hmm.
of us are waking up to our own lineages through this
Mm-hmm.
gift. We had a conversation earlier where you said, us as Maya people, we're very open hearted. We just share
Mm-hmm.
everything. And so just
Mm-hmm.
honoring your sharing, and then what that sharing does for everybody else, because they start to
Mm-hmm.
remember what's in their own blood. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
such a gift. Just thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And thank you to Kik Samara. And it's a blessing to have you down there, that we can keep in touch, and it's amazing. And that's how the spirits work.
I'm really touched. I feel so much love. And then when I get into this love space, I can't speak. So I'm just going to say thank you, thank
Oh,
you, thank
thank you
you.
too. Thank you.
And
Thank
thank you,
you.
everyone, for watching. We'll stop recording these things. Oh, before we do you want to say a
Okay.
prayer, Maria, just to close? Is there anything you want to say?
Okay, well, I think we give, thanks to the Almighty that we are here, that they are giving us another day, and we are asking for their guidance, and to keep us, with this mission, not only us, but all of us, on this, planet Earth. And we give thanks to, for the guidance, for the strength, for the, air that we have, for the food, every day that we have on our table, and for everything, that they are giving us, and that they are doing for us. And if they want to give us another day, then we welcome it, and we give thanks for everything, for even the life that we have, for being here on earth. And you know we know that we have a mission, and that's why we are all here. So thanks to the great, Almighty, and thank to you all too. Blessings.